Original post, May 3, 2024. Hey everyone. Last week, I celebrated my birthday with my friend group. We're all fairly close, and whilst we've never discussed gifts explicitly, we all kind of naturally fell into an unspoken pattern around what kind of birthday gifts we give to each other. We do gifts, but they're usually in the 10 to 40 euro range. Think things like a book, a voucher for theater tickets, or maybe a nice bottle of wine. That kind of stuff. We're all young professionals or grad students, and that just fits our general income level. A good friend of mine brought her boyfriend to the party, and he gave me a gift of his own, separate from my friends. Without going into too much detail, it was a small object that had a very thoughtful connection to a trip I took in winter. I was genuinely very thankful for the gift and thought it was lovely. However, when I unpacked the item at home, something about it just caught my eye. Certain parts of the item that I would have expected to be made of glass, didn't look like glass. I ended up Googling the maker's mark on the bottom and found the exact same item online, for the price of 750 euros. Now, it'd be one thing if this guy was a trust fund kid for whom that kind of money was just peanuts. I'd still feel uncomfortable, but at least there'd be some logic to this then. But my friend's relationship with this guy already has massive problems, largely centered around him being underemployed and making her pick up the tab for their shared lifestyle to an undue degree. We honestly all expect the relationship to fizzle out soon, because they obviously aren't compatible in some key aspects. So now I've got this 750 euro item on my shelf, and I've no clue how to handle this. It feels extremely inappropriate to have this thing. I'd feel uncomfortable accepting this sort of gift from almost anyone I know, but the fact that it's a friend's romantic partner, I'm gay and her boyfriend knows, but still, and two, said friend has issues with her partner's handling of his finances just makes it even worse. It's also a highly specific item that I don't think he'd be likely to just have, so I'm pretty certain he must have bought this for the occasion and must be aware of its value. What do I do? My friend seems to be totally unaware of the value of the item. Do I tell her? Do I contact the boyfriend and ask him what he was thinking? How would you handle this? TLDR, friend's boyfriend gave me a 750 euro birthday gift. Friend seems to be unaware of the true value of the item and already has issues with boyfriend's handling of money. How do I handle this? Relevant comments. Comment 1. You should talk to your friend about returning it. OP, yeah, I think I'll have to have a discussion with my friend. I also considered that he might have got some kind of bizarrely amazing deal, and spent all of yesterday night Googling around for auctioning sites and checking whether there might be a chance he bought this without knowing what it was and how much it was worth. I'm pretty sure, though, that unless something genuinely absurd happened, he must have paid at least 500 euros for this, and even that's a very generously low estimate. There is, of course, a chance that he just had this item, but it's so specific and rare that I don't think some random pseudo-finance bro just has this in his house, sees it, and thinks, it's my girlfriend's friend's birthday, that might be a good chance to get rid of this. Totally bizarre behavior. I don't know what this man was thinking, but I need this thing out of my house. Comment 2, ask the boyfriend where he got it from. OP, I considered that as well. Trying to maintain some level of vagueness about what it is, the thing that makes it valuable is that it's antique. There are modern versions of this item available that are reasonably priced. I initially thought my item was one of these modern versions, but anything made by the particular guy who made mine is valuable because it's old. If he bought it online, it would be downright impossible for him not to notice that similar items go for 600 to 800 euros even if he somehow got this particular one for cheaper. I suppose there is some kind of bizarre off chance that he bought it at a flea market or antique store from someone who didn't know what they were selling. But he's a very run-of-the-mill finance bro frat boy type and not at all the sort of guy I imagine casually meandering around flea markets and picking up valuable antiques on accident. It's such a bizarre thing to happen. I genuinely don't know whether I'm glad to have Googled it and found out. On the one hand, I'm glad to know someone did something that utterly bonkers. On the other hand, I could have gone on existing peacefully and enjoyed my pretty trinket if I hadn't found out what it was. Update 1, May 5, 2024. I ended up texting my friend and telling her that I had researched the gift and discovered it was worth a very inappropriate amount of money. She was very surprised by the entire situation, especially considering her boyfriend, now ex, but more on that later, is perpetually broke and makes her foot the bill for their shared lifestyle. She came over to my place and together, we called him on speakerphone, where she demanded some answers. Long story short, he stole it. From his own mother. He's still being a bit shady about some details, but we managed to piece together the sequence of events to a satisfactory degree. My friend was supposed to be coming to my birthday party straight from work. When she left her office, she realized she had forgotten the gift she had planned for me at home. Since she was already running late and her place is pretty far from both her work and my flat, she chose to text her boyfriend, who was having dinner at his parents' home at the time. She knew he was there, and knew his parents live close to me, so she asked him to just buy a copy of the same book at a bookshop on his way to my place so they'd have a gift. For reasons known only to him, he did not choose this simple, reasonable solution to the "we forgot our gift" issue. Instead of leaving 5 minutes early to pick up another copy of the book, he instead chose to just grab a random item off his mother's living room shelf. Without asking her. He had no idea what it was, just thought it looked pretty, took it, and stuffed it in a paper bag. He also did not text back my friend or react to her calls, so she assumed he hadn't read her message and ended up going back to get the book, which was why they arrived separately and with separate gifts. Meanwhile, the boyfriend had unknowingly gifted me not just any antique, no. This item had been passed down to his mother from her 3 times great-grandmother. It had been in his family's possession for literal centuries, and was the only tangible connection his mother still had to her home country, which incidentally, is also my mother's home country, which he wasn't aware of, meaning that what I thought was a thoughtful connection to my trip there was a total coincidence. He had no idea of the item's cultural significance. My friend immediately made him call his mom to fess up to the entire situation. His mother had been running herself ragged trying to figure out where this item disappeared to for days. Obviously, she never suspected thievery, and was blaming herself terribly for having lost something this important. The boyfriend actually had the gall to try to convince her not to make her call his mom. He wanted to sweep the entire thing under the rug. Of course, we didn't let that happen. His mother came by my place this morning and I returned the item to her, along with some apologies for not starting investigations immediately and some nice chocolate. We had a lovely conversation about our shared cultural heritage. I assured her that the item had been treated with dignity for the entire time it was in my possession, and we parted ways with a hug. She also told me that my initial estimate of the item's value was incorrect. It's actually worth even more money. It would probably sell for a 4-figure sum at auction. I don't know what she wants to do with her son, but I hope she whoops his ass. My friend, for obvious reasons, broke up with him. Lessons learned: Google suspicious gifts, and lock away your sentimental and valuable stuff when people you're not entirely sure about come over. The gall of this man, TLDR, the suspiciously expensive gift was, in fact, stolen. The boyfriend swiped it off his mom's shelf, not knowing what it was or how much it was worth. I returned it to her and hope she whoops his ass. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Firstly, good on you. Secondly, good on your friend for breaking up with this dope. Thirdly, I laugh at the implication that one should lock valuables away from people you're not entirely sure about if that person is your own child. OP. True. That poor woman obviously wouldn't have thought her own son would be running around grabbing random things off her shelves. I still ended up checking all of my stuff, considering he appears to have sticky fingers and spent hours in my flat basically unsupervised on my birthday. I'll grow much more cautious with my valuables when having groups over from now on, especially if the group includes friends' partners who I might not know that well. Comment 2. I remember reading your first post. What was the gift? Why not put us out of our misery and say what it was? OP. Alright, it's super specific, but it's a special kind of religious devotional triptych made, in the case of this particular one, of silver and real rubies. They're called travel triptychs and common in my family's home region, though, of course, they aren't usually made of silver and gemstones. I initially grew suspicious because of the maker's mark A, saying that it's silver, and B, specifically saying that it's 800 silver, which is a kind of silver used only up to the 1800s. Modern silverwork uses 925 silver, aka sterling silver. The religious aspect wasn't very meaningful to me, but my family's home city is famous for its silversmithing, and my mother's family were silversmiths, and the item specifically is beautiful. Of course it is, it's a $1,000 antique inlaid with rubies. Super specific. This dude basically accidentally gave me a gift that would have been, if it had come from someone else, pretty damn amazing. Story 2, Am I the asshole for being the buzzkill at my BF's birthday party? Original post, March 25, 2024. I am 24 female, my boyfriend is 28 male. He isn't the type of person who likes birthday parties, but this year his friends really wanted to throw him one. He got discharged from the army after 10 years of service, so in part, it was to celebrate that. I helped arrange this birthday party. We pooled our money and rented a house by the ocean. My boyfriend loves to surf. I put in extra money so we could stay after the birthday. Have some time, just the two of us. I know my boyfriend very well. All of his nonverbal cues and mannerisms. We often communicate with actions, gestures, looks. I was sitting on the sofa by the fire table warming myself. My boyfriend came over and hugged me. I could tell right away when I held his face in my hands. They got this man so drunk. He put his forehead on my shoulder. I knew he was tapped out. Whenever he gets drunk like this he always comes and finds me. I know this behavior. Some time passes, I'm just stroking his hair and talking to him softly. His friends come to get him to go off somewhere and my boyfriend has his face buried in my neck. He is holding my hand. His fingers are interlaced with mine. His eyes are closed. But they're still trying to pull him away. I start resisting by holding my boyfriend to me protectively. I tell his friends he's done for the night. He's not going anywhere. They argue with me. Keep in mind they are drunk too. I said no. He's done. You guys got him too drunk. They try to push me about it and they're being kind of aggressive. Maybe they don't realize it because they were drunk. I found it a little intimidating since I am a 5'3" woman trying to reason with loud inebriated military guys. They are all quite a bit older too. My boyfriend is one of the youngest people in their group. But I hold my ground. They go on without my boyfriend. Not long after. The party winds down, and as everyone is leaving, I am getting cold-shouldered a lot. It's blatantly obvious they are upset with me. Am I the asshole? I didn't mean to be a buzzkill. I was protecting my boyfriend. I know his limit. They seem mad at me for assuming they wouldn't look after him, which is not what I was implying, and that I took him away from their celebrating. They had celebrated plenty, for hours. It was past midnight when this incident happened. But they don't get to see each other often and I was going to have my boyfriend to myself the next day. From their perspective I was unreasonable, and I spoiled their fun. Relevant comments. OP. Here is the update. My boyfriend spoke to his friends/colleagues involved in the incident and they reached out to apologize to me. They didn't know I felt hurt by their attitude toward me at the end of the night. They said they were just drunk and giving me a hard time, and it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Unfortunately, because I'm not familiar with their humor I misinterpreted a little. They also recognized how they came across too and were genuine about it. They said they respect me and how I handled it. Comment 1. Decades ago one of our friends got married at 19. Glenn was in the Navy at the time. Pat, the best man, was a great guy but didn't drink and couldn't organize a fake orgasm in a brothel. So some of Glenn's sailor buddies offered to host the bachelor party. The night before the wedding, Glenn asked us, his childhood friends, to make sure he left at midnight. No matter what he said, no matter what his sailor buddies did. He did not want to be completely wrecked on his wedding day. Party started around 9 and by 12 he was drunk off his ass and we decided that it was time to get him home, but we knew that we had to be subtle because the Navy dudes outnumbered us and were very drunk. So Glenn mentions having to take a piss. I say use the bushes outside, the toilet in the apartment was busy. We get him outside and pissing and then start to steer him towards the car. Another friend Dave was home from college and had his mom's station wagon. We are almost there when the sailors see us, yell, and start running towards us. We basically rush Glenn into the back seat and Dave is backing the car out of the parking space when the drunk sailors open the back door and grab a hold of one of Glenn's legs. Dave is shouting, "Don't hurt my mom's car," over and over. Pat and I are holding Glenn by his armpits while a few sailors have his ankles outside the car while Dave is doing a slow 3-point turn. The car is finally going in the right direction. It becomes like a low-budget slow-motion action movie. The sailors are running alongside the car as Dave picks up speed in this parking lot. But they are drunk and start falling off one by one. We finally managed to get Glenn all the way into the car. He thought it was hilarious at the time but thanked us profusely the next day. OP. Thank you for sharing. I love this story so much, I'm going to screenshot it to my BF. In my own way, I definitely felt like you and Pat holding Glenn by the armpits. Update 1, April 15, 2024. It will be short. I kind of did the update by replying to a comment in the original post already because I didn't think my story needed an update post. I just wanted to come back and share the good news. I'm engaged. And some of the guys from the incident were the same guys who helped my fiancé plan his proposal. It was simple and private but they helped light a lot of candles. A lot of people gave them a tough time in the comments but they're good people. Anyway, thanks again. I have placed this update on my page instead of Am I the Asshole because it felt obnoxious to put it there. I don't know how to read it. Bye. First off, huge congratulations to OP. Secondly, as someone who grew up around military vets, I can definitely see how if OP wasn't used to being around them she could take it the wrong way. But I'm glad OP was able to talk it out with them instead of just thinking they hated her. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.